You are now listening to the Gospel of Alex. Alex, drop those scriptures.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Alex. Shout out to the Elite Fleet. Make sure you like and subscribe so you can become a member of the Elite Fleet. And we gotta talk about Future again because Future just cannot seem to keep Russell Wilson's nuts out of his mouth. He cannot seem to keep Sierra's booty hole out of his mouth. He just keeps mentioning them. Right? Future actually had a dope verse on Turn Your Click Up. The dopest verse on Turn Your Click Up. It's not that hard to out-rap Quavo, but still it was a dope verse. Future's actually a very dope artist when he wants to be. I do not understand why he keeps mentioning Russell Wilson. Actually, yes, I do. I do understand why he keeps mentioning Russell Wilson. It's because Future has bitter baby father syndrome. His bitter baby father syndrome is the reason that he keeps mentioning Russell Wilson. And to me, this was an important video to make because a lot of dudes look at Future as the blueprint. Right? If you just want to sleep around, you just want to do your thing, you don't want to be in a relationship, a lot of dudes look at Future as the blueprint. And the reason they looked at Future as the blueprint is because Future was very real and very honest about not wanting to settle down. He would tell women this up front, and the women would still want to deal with him. So a lot of dudes viewed him as a savage, but the problem is a lot of ways that Future moves is not only toxic, but is corny and unmasculine as hell. Oh yeah, Future's the man, he's the player, he's the pimp. Which y'all fail to realize that whole player and pimp culture, that whole sleeping with a whole bunch of women culture and never settling down is why we got so many 304s now. That's why we got so many women not wanting to be traditional, feminine, and fit, and friendly women now. Nurturing, caring, and cooperative is what we call over here. Doesn't matter. So what you call it? The reason that they don't want to do that, the reason you're having a harder time convincing them to do that is because dudes like Future running around making 8 baby mothers, which makes no sense because it's 8 liabilities. He's paying money into 8 different households when he could have just kept growing his family with Sierra. But he wants to run around like he's a little kid, like he's in his early 20s, and sleep with a bunch of different women and do it with reckless, undisciplined D, knocking all these women up, and then still terrorizing the one woman who moved on and got married. And I'm going to break down in this video why he's so mad at Sierra and why he's not saying anything else about any of his other baby mothers. Because it's really obvious, and a lot of baby fathers go through this. A lot of baby fathers have the same problem, and that's why I wanted to make this video and say, do not be like Future. Do not be out here sleeping with a bunch of women, making a bunch of kids, and if you already do have a child with a woman, if that woman moves on and she gets a boyfriend and she gets married, let her be great. Ain't no point in hating on him or hating on them. Just do your thing and find your queen. Find your queen, but don't be a hater. Let's get into it. And this is one of the examples of that because Future is the prime example of a bitter baby father. Now, if you've been subscribed to the channel for a while, you probably already checked out a video I made about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, where I talked about how men trap women. If you're a woman and you're watching this and you have not watched that video, definitely go watch that because it's one of the best videos on the channel. But if you're a man, you can learn a lot from the video as well. But in that video, a lot of dudes got mad. They was like, Alex, a man can't trap a woman because a woman chooses who she wants to sleep with. And what would be the incentive to trap a woman? Because she can put you on child support and talking all that BS without having actually watched the video. First of all, let me explain something to you guys. Yes, a woman chooses who enters her, but at the end of the day, you choose who you enter. Let that breathe, run it back. Yes, a woman chooses who enters her, but at the end of the day, you choose who you enter. So saying that a woman chooses who she sleeps with, therefore, there's no way a man could trap her, therefore, she's the only one who could trap a man is stupid because at the end of the day, you're the one who decided to lay down with her raw and let your seed off in her, so it takes 2 to tangle, not 1. The same way we want women to be accountable for that, we gotta hold men accountable to that too. That's a stupid argument. It's a dumbass red pill manosphere argument that makes no sense. Stop coming on my channel saying dumb stuff that doesn't make no sense. But moving on from that, in that video, if y'all had actually listened, I actually broke down why men would want to trap a woman with a baby. What's the logic, what's the reasoning, and what's the situation that would cause it? And being that Future is dealing with the same thing right now, this is a good time for me to reiterate that. I said in that video when I talked about it, the reason that a man would knock up a woman with a baby when he's not planning on marrying or being with her yet is simple, especially a dude with a hood mentality, a dude from the streets. They look at it like this. If you're with a woman, the woman's fine, she's beautiful, she's loving, she's caring, she's nurturing, she's sweet, right? But you still think in the back of your head you might be able to do better than her for whatever reason. What a lot of dudes will do is they will go ahead and allow you to have their seed. The reason that they allow you to have their seed is because they're looking at it as the kid is the same thing as the baby. All right? Remember I told you guys before in the black community, and this is the gym, to black women, a baby with a man is the same as being married to the man. It's her way of gaining that man's resources over a period of time, because a lot of black women don't see themselves ever being married, don't see their man ever marrying them, right? Well, it's kind of the same thing in reverse for a lot of black men, especially with that hood mentality. In their head, if I put a baby in you, it's damn near like marrying you. I'm marking my territory. No other man's gonna take you seriously, all right? Follow what I'm saying to you. So because they're under that belief, what they'll do is they'll put a baby in you, then they'll go out there, explore their options. If they find a better one, they'll stay with the better one. But if they don't find a better one, they always look at it as, I can go back home because no one else is going to take you serious because I already put a baby in you. All right, now I'm not talking about the dudes who put a baby in a woman, right? Or the woman kept their baby and they didn't intend on having a baby with that one. I'm talking about the dudes who intentionally, and yes, it does happen, puts a baby in a woman, puts a baby in a good woman, because again, he thinks he might be able to do better, but he knows she's a good woman, so he wants to stamp his ability to come back. All right, so he puts the baby in the woman and he chills. And he goes out and he plays the field with the logic being, if I don't find anything better, I'll just come back, whisper sweet nothing into my baby mother's ear, tell her how I was immature and now I want to be a family, and I'll still have this good, nurturing, caring woman that I can spend the rest of my life with, so that it works out. Now, where bitter baby father syndrome comes in is when the plan doesn't work that way. See, what they fail to realize is sometimes your baby mother, right, if she really is dope, if she really is loving, nurturing, caring, and sweet, she can cook, she is submissive, she can clean, she knows how to be supportive, right? She has all the traditional traits that you would want in a woman, right? But she just made the mistake of thinking that you were going to take her serious when you had no plans on it. A lot of time that woman goes back in the field and now she actually finds somebody, right? She gets a boyfriend or she gets a husband. And that's a lot of the time when you will see the baby father decide now he wants to get back into the picture, and now the baby father wants to become a problem. And the reason that the baby father wants to become a problem when you get yourself a boyfriend or you get yourself a husband, and ladies, if you're watching this, take notes. Fellas, if you're watching this is everything you shouldn't be. Never be this type of guy. Just move on. At the end of the day, if you have a baby with a woman and you don't marry the woman does not belong to you. So if she moves on, you should just eat that, do your thing with your kids, and you need to move on as well. You don't want to be corny like this. But what's going on here is Future did not anticipate that Sierra was ever going to move on and find not only a boyfriend, but a husband. Trust me when I tell you guys, he did not anticipate that. Now, remember, Future's a dude who usually doesn't care, because there's a lot of other people talking about well, how come he's not bothering his other baby mothers? How come he's not bothering his other baby mothers? Well, simple. First of all, his other baby mothers were never as a high of a level of Sierra. They didn't have as much money, they didn't have as much clout, and they weren't as good people. How do you know that, Alex? Because Future actually proposed to Sierra. Future never proposed to any of his other baby mothers. The fact that Future proposed this year not only stamps her as a good woman, but it means he was actually in love with this woman. He was not in love with his other baby mothers. He was just smashing his other baby mothers. You guys have to read between the lines. So Sierra has to be a solid chick, because Future proposed to her and Russell Wilson actually went through and married her, all right? Had 2 kids with her. They got a whole family going on, right? So Future, again, was most likely expecting he would always be able to go back to Sierra. Russell Wilson puts a hamper in that. Also, the secondary problem, so 1, he can't go back. 2, his secondary problem is that because Russell Wilson is there as a fixated, permanent figure in her life, his son is now under the tutelage, under the leadership, and in the household of another man. This is another reason why I'm like, no men should want to be like Future. Future is a sucker. First of all, who goes out there? Future has no dick discipline. All right, I need you guys to understand. This man has like 8 baby mothers. He's paying all of them child support. There's no way Future's going to be able to afford to be able to pay all these women over 6 figures of child support for the next 18 years. Future is already 40 years old. I want you guys to understand that. So 1, he's wild courting for being 40 years old and even acting like this. But again, he's already 40 years old. Most of Future kids aren't going to be 18 until he's already well into his 50s. So this man's going to have to be putting out music, touring, because We already know artists make most of their money touring. He's going to have to be doing these things well until he's 50, damn near 60 years old. Who the hell wants to be out here making rap music? Who the hell wants to be out here touring at 50, almost 60 years old? Now, if you're doing it in the form of Nas or Jay-Z, where it's like you don't have to do it, you're just doing it because you want to, that's different than doing it because you have to. Future's in a situation where he's going to be doing it because he has to pay this child support. So don't let him fool you. He has no discipline, and he's paying the price. It's nothing cool about knocking up a bunch of women. But getting back to the situation that I was just talking about, Future's son is under the tutelage in the household and under protection and provision of another man. And that's what he's really mad about. You hear dudes say all the time, oh, I don't want my son around another man. Or I don't want no son around another man. Don't have no other man around my kids. Now, I always say, if you don't want another man around your kids, then marry the baby mother and you don't have to worry about that. But since a lot of black men like Future don't like responsibility, he's not going to do that. He wants to knock a woman up, lower her value, so that he can come in and out of her life and be a father whenever he decides he wants to be a father. But then when a man like Future comes along who can see the value in the woman that you took for granted, he goes ahead and wipes her up. Now he's in her life every day, which by default means he's in your son's life every day. Now you got to hit with the Jay-Z line. See, Jay-Z made it right with Beyonce for this same reason. This is the gem. Peep it. Jay-Z said, I don't even know what I would have done in the future of other dudes playing football with your son. Let that breathe, run it back. Jay-Z said, I don't even know what I would have done in the future of other dudes playing football with your son. He's talking about Future. He's basically saying, listen, when I messed up with Beyonce, it was important for me to fix the situation because I don't know what I'm going to do if I have a son and then some other dude is playing catch with my son, raising my son, building my son in his image. My son's calling somebody else daddy. My kids are calling somebody else daddy. I don't want to deal with that. At the end of the day, little Future is calling Russell Wilson daddy. He's calling some other body daddy. He's calling another man daddy. That is not Future. Future is not daddy. Future is daddy number 2. He's really daddy number 1, but he's basically daddy number 2 because he's not in that boy's life. Baby Future does not want to be a rapper. Baby Future wants to play football. Baby Future acts and is molded and in the image of Russell Wilson. On top of the fact that she had two other kids by Russell Wilson. So essentially, you lost your son. Your son, who's named after you, is no longer your son anymore. So he's pissed about that. 1, he doesn't have access to Sierra anymore. 2, he's not the head of the household over his family anymore. 3, Sierra not only moved on, but she moved on with a higher value man. Future probably still wouldn't care as much if this man didn't have as much money as him, as much clout as he did, all right, as much pull as he has, as wasn't as masculine as he is. But in this case, Russell Wilson is way more masculine than Future. Way more masculine than Future. And don't talk about how Future is supposedly a thug and he smashed chicks. Nah. Russell Wilson is a full man, a whole man. Russell Wilson has a religious foundation. All right? Russell Wilson has more than enough funds to be a provider. Russell Wilson knows how to fix, build, and repair things. Russell Wilson clearly had a leadership plan for not only himself, but his entire family. So he's a better provider. He's a better leader. And he's a better protector than Future is. He has more things invested than Future does. He loves harder than Future can. He's a better overall man in every sense of the word than Future is. He's more versatile than Future is. He can hang in more different rooms and more different avenues than Future can. He's a better overall man than Future is. Do not debate me on that. So she went out and got a man with just as much money, just as much status, and just as much pull as you, who's a more overall masculine and balanced man than you are. So not only did she go out and get another man, not only is this other man around your kids all the time, right? Not only is this other man taking away your access to this woman, but this other man is also more masculine than you. So Future is catching 3 L's at the same damn time, and that's why he's bitter. So I don't want to say I don't know why he's bitter. What I want to say is I would expect better from a 40-year-old grown-ass man who's supposed to be a quote-unquote masculine man, who's supposed to be a A grade and not giving a damn. Future's whole thing that made him the toxic mascot is supposed to be not giving a damn. Now, me with Future, the music is one thing, but as a person, I don't understand how you can label someone a player who's spending millions of dollars on a bunch of different women, knocking up a bunch of different women, and still mad at his baby mother's husband for wifing his baby mother when he sent her back to the streets. To me, there's nothing masculine about that. To me, that's extremely corny. That's why I labeled this video, "No man should want to be like Future." If you're Future, all you should be focusing on is being a good dad to your son and getting yourself a solid woman so you could build a foundation, so you can start your own damn family, so you could start building generational wealth. But Future's not even going to really be able to build generational wealth because he has too many damn kids spread out into too many goddamn households. And he's going to be broke by the time these kids turn 18, and he's going to have to hope that their mothers don't spend all the goddamn money that he's sending them. But we all know that they're going to spend all the damn money that he's sending them. So most likely his kids ain't going to have nothing left. He's not going to have nothing left. So the only one who's probably going to really have generational wealth is Baby Future. But Baby Future is looking up to Russell Wilson, not you. And I tell dudes all the time, this is the risk you run when you have a baby mother. Especially if your baby mother's not baby mother terrorist, if she's not some ghetto ass ratchet hood rat, if she's not a low value woman, right? So if she's not a trailer park Tracy, a leftover low main Luann, right? Refried beans Rachel, or ratchet Rihanna, she's actually a good solid woman. You run the risk when you send her back to the streets that some dude might not care that she has another dude's kid. He might be just dope enough to her that he decides to take care of both of them. Now, what are you gonna do? Now, what are you gonna do besides watch your son play catch with another man? Besides watch your son call another man dad? What are you gonna do? See, if Future was really a masculine man, he would take his son. Let that breathe, run it back. If Future was really a masculine man, he would have just took his son. But he doesn't really want the responsibility of being a full-time dad. So he's like, nah, I'm going to leave the son with the mother. So you rather leave the son in another man's household under another man's care and then complain and throw shots about that man unprovoked for no reason all the time. Imagine when Baby Future gets old enough to really go back and look back at all the things that Future said about Russell Wilson unprovoked for no reason. Who do you think Baby Future is going to leave this situation thinking is a more masculine man? His dad, who didn't do the majority of taking care of him and was always throwing shade at his stepdad, who never wasted his time throwing shade at him and did the majority of taking care of him. He's going to view his dad as the real man. To be honest with you, Future doesn't call Russell Wilson his stepdad. He calls him dad, as he should, because that's the man taking care of him every day. Some dude's going to be in the comments, man, that don't matter, Alex, that's still not his dad. Well, at the end of the day, if he's paying the bills, if he's raising the kid, if he's setting the standard, then the kid should be calling him dad. If Future wants to be called dad, then take your damn son. Otherwise, shut the hell up. See, that's the masculine thing. If you're not going to take your son out of my household, then shut the hell up. Because you're not getting my wife. So therefore, if you want your son, you don't want no other man around your son, then take custody of your son, take him out of the household. But Future's not going to do that. Most baby fathers are not going to do that. What they want is for their woman to just remain single. Yeah, she can get her back blown out. They don't really care. And that's the whole problem. That's Future's problem. See, deep down, I'm just keeping it real with you guys. The best gems come for those who stay to the end. I repeat, the best gems come to those who stay to the end. Future really loves Sierra. That's why he proposed to her. But he couldn't stop being a dog and he couldn't stop cheating. Do I know for a fact that he cheated? No. Sierra could be lying. But everything about how Future moves, we have no real reason to believe that he wasn't cheating on her. See, Future would like to be married to Sierra. Future would like to be a good dad, but he's a big-ass kid in a grown-ass man's body, and he cannot commit himself to one woman because he has no dick discipline. That's why he's got 8 baby mothers. All right? And he's not mature enough and responsible enough to really settle down and lead a family and be a real full-grown masculine man. He still wants to run through the streets and sleep with random hoes like he's in his early 30s and 20s. This is a grown-ass man, a grown old-ass man. He still wants to go around and be reckless like he's in his early 20s. And then dudes always hit that line. That's why I said to the passport bro, dude, I'm like, yo, you're traveling around, you trying to sleep with all these women, you already plus 30. At what point are you going to start prospecting for a wife to settle down? He's like, oh, well, I'm a man, I can have kids whenever. Well, it's not even about that. It's about your mindset. At a certain point, it's only going to be a while before you get Zion Williamson, which we're going to talk about later. And you sleep with the wrong chick and she tries to steal your fortune or she tries to ruin your life. At what point are you going to settle down? At some point you have to say, okay, I found me a solid woman, and if you're a high value man, settle down. How many women are you going to keep paying? The Future refuses to do that. He's stuck in his second childhood. He does not want to grow up and be a man and have a family. So Russell Wilson just reminds Future of everything that he's not. Y'all envy him for being the bad boy. Y'all envy him for being the player. Y'all envy him for running through all these women. But he envies Russell Wilson for being able to sit on one good woman and take care of her family, because that's what he really wish he had the ability to do. But he's too childish and immature to ever do that. But y'all don't really hear me though. So that's what it really is. He has bitter baby father syndrome and he needs to grow up. He probably won't. Hopefully he will at some day, but he probably won't. I guess the toxicity makes for good music though. So that's the good thing you can get out of it. But that's what's going on with Future. That's all that's going on with Future. Future really wants to have a family, specifically with Sierra, and he's never going to get that ability now. And because he's not a grown-ass man and can't just apologize to her and admit that he was wrong and he probably should have treated her better, he wants to come out here and throw little pot shots like a 5-year-old. And that's why no one should be looking up to Future, because Future is in arrested development. He's nothing to idolize for young men. But with that being said, that's my thoughts on that. I am Alex, and I am out. Peace.